Whether it's binging true crime documentaries or falling down a rabbit hole about how the sun will eventually swallow the Earth, we are drawn toward the extreme edges of the human experience. We have to wonder what drives that impulse. Is it the sheer scale of the destruction, the raw physical pain, or the specific sequence of events that allowed the tragedy to happen? When we examine these outcomes, they tend to cluster into three distinct categories: the indifferent universe, the tragic accident, and deliberate cruelty. By separating these fates, we can begin to see the specific points where our biology, our systems, and our morality are most likely to fail. The first category is nature. The cosmos doesn't have to hate us to kill us. It simply isn't built for our survival. On Venus, our closest neighbor, the atmosphere is a corrosive screen of sulfuric acid clouds. If you stepped onto the surface, the air pressure, 92 times heavier than Earth's, would crush a standard pressurized suit in seconds. Deep inside Jupiter, the environment becomes even more alien. Below layers of ammonia ice, you'd hit a supercritical fluid, a state neither gas nor liquid, before becoming trapped in a core of churning, metallic hydrogen. This indifference exists on a biological level, too. In 1994, Gloria Ramirez arrived at a hospital with advanced cancer. When doctors drew her blood, it reacted with the administered oxygen to create a toxic compound, inadvertently poisoning 23 members of the medical staff. This lack of intent is what allowed the body of Elmer McCurdy to be treated as a carnival prop for 65 years. Because no one claimed him after his death in 1911, his mummified remains were simply painted over and displayed in funhouses, with thousands of people passing by a corpse they assumed was wax. These scenarios are terrifying because they cannot be reasoned with. A toxic chemical reaction or a planetary atmosphere doesn't have a motive. It just functions according to laws that don't account for us. The second category is error. We don't always need a hostile environment to face disaster. We frequently trigger it through small, cascading failures. In 1914, a driver in Sarajevo took a wrong turn. While attempting to reverse out of the side street, he stalled the engine. That single stalled car stopped directly in front of an assassin. Within weeks of the Archduke's sudden death, nations across Europe declared war, starting a massive conflict that killed millions. Similarly, Thomas Midgley Jr. believed he was solving a safety problem when he invented chlorofluorocarbons, or CFCs, as a non-toxic replacement for dangerous refrigerator gases. This chart shows how the worldwide adoption of CFCs in the mid-20th century perfectly tracks with the erosion of our atmosphere. His scientific solution accidentally triggered a hole in the Earth's ozone density. Sometimes the error is mechanical. In 1962, a guard at a Duluth military base saw a figure climbing a fence and triggered a sabotage alarm. A wiring mistake sent that local alert to a nearby base as a nuclear launch siren. Pilots were already taxiing toward the runway to start World War III before they realized the saboteur was actually just a bear. These accidents prove how precarious our stability really is. They turn a stalled engine or a wandering animal into variables that can threaten the entire planet. The final category is malice. Unlike a cosmic storm or a wiring error, this type of suffering is engineered. It requires a specific kind of calculation. History shows us devices like the brazen bowl, a metal statue designed to cook a person alive, while using a series of pipes to transform their screams into the sound of a bull for the entertainment of a crowd. Then there is scaphism, where a victim is trapped between two boats and force-fed milk and honey until their own biology is effectively weaponized to attract the vicious insects that will slowly and painfully consume them. In literature, Dante's Inferno serves as the ultimate attempt to organize and perfect the concept of punishment. Dante built his hell on contrapasso, where punishment ironically reflects the sin. This map shows consequences across 9 descending circles. In the third circle, the gluttonous are placed in a permanent loop of consumption. They are eternally shredded and eaten by the 3-headed dog Cerberus. This is the most unsettling category, because it isn't a mistake. It requires the architect to understand exactly what causes another human pain, and then deliberately build a system to deliver it. When we look at these 3 categories together, the blind storms of space, the stalled engines of history, and the engineered tortures of the past, we can clearly see how they overlap. It is easy to view this fascination with the macabre as a morbid distraction or a preoccupation with things we cannot change. But seeing the furthest limits of disaster is a form of calibration. We are essentially measuring the distance between a normal day and total collapse. We don't study these shadows to dwell in them. We look at the worst possible outcomes to better understand the shape of the life we are trying to keep.